Hey, good evening all. Welcome to TFC Open Mic. This is Season 3, Episode 9. It's the mid-March Bounty review, and I've put down... Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's good fun. Evening all, how are we?
Evening.
Evening, everyone. Let's have a look who's in. We've got Brian in with a thumbs up straight away. George is in. Hefe's in. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good.
Good. Jeff's in. Ren's in. Terry's in, obviously. And
Hello.
Venom's in. Cool. Hey. Good. Everybody's in. We've all got tons to talk about. So we've got a couple more slots available. If anyone wants to come in that's on the live chat, please feel free. I'll just post it up for you. Come in, just say hello and that sort of stuff. So yeah, things are getting on. So, and Rum's just popped in. Hello, Rum. Rum with no mic at the moment. I'm sure we'll get there in a minute. Anyway, so, right, it's the Bounty weekend. We're sort of just over halfway through, or just over halfway through. How do you think it's going?
Wonderful. Best bounty ever.
Amen.
I'm hearing a lot of positives.
Yeah, I think personally, probably one of the best events they've had per se for a number of years.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. This is a lot better than I've got more points than I've had before. More variety.
Yeah,
I hate hitting the same kind of bases over and over and over. That gets so monotonous.
Do you know what's nice is, I mean, just because it says, 89 or 94 and that sort of stuff, there are so many 94s. I've never hit, I'm sure that would never happen anyway, but you've never even hit hardly the same base design twice, let alone anything else, because it's got a different guard chip or turrets are slightly different, or, I quite like it.
I'm quite pleased that you're able to prep for low levels now. And prep very repetitively over and over again to the point where they could just use a gunboat to kill them.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, I didn't see Dirk. Hey, Dirk, how you doing, mate?
Doing fine. Hello, guys.
I haven't seen you for a while. How's things? All right?
Going good. Was without internet for about 2 weeks.
All right, okay. All right. But, yeah, so how's your bounty experience, mate?
I actually just got the internet working today.
Right.
I haven't started the bounty yet.
All right. Well, this is a perfect time to jump in, mate, because getting to the even I know it's a bit late, but getting to some of the lock points, you should still get to a reasonable level. We're only halfway through, so
I've liked it. I've heard from a lot of players that did not participate in bounty before that have this time, and they're actually enjoying it.
Well, it's the fun part of the game that most people have been missing, right?
And yeah, that, and it also allows people that are, that haven't done PvP before, that haven't hit bases to, it's a chance to try it without having repercussions. You know what I mean? Like they have the slot for the Conquerors to repair, so they can repair while they're doing something else or repairing something else. They're not going to have anyone coming back to hit them. There's not going to be anybody sniping them, and they actually have time to go into the base, and they can prep as many times as they want, so they can learn what they have to do and like what kind of goals they need to meet as they're hitting the targets. It's a great opportunity for people to learn.
Which is exactly what this should be, correct?
I'm using it like that because I suck at base hitting. I'm learning a lot myself.
Yeah, I mean it's a learning process. It's a lot of fun, and I tell you what I've experienced, and I don't know if Venom's going to share it. It's a great opportunity to learn to work with your alliance. You have some people that's stronger in certain aspects of PvP than others. So if you got somebody that can come in and see what they need to do, we got a bad feedback problem.
all right. Where's that to then? I'm not hearing it here.
I didn't hear it either.
I'm getting feedback. I'm hearing myself talk and somebody hitting something like a chopping block.
I've got my YouTube muted, so.
But anyway, the point is, people working together, alliances working together, like Venom said, you can actually prep for somebody. It's just great. If you look around, there's more people playing. There's more bases with the bounty symbol on it than ever. You can get small things. If you want to hit real player bases, you can hit the replica bases, like George said, for no payback, if you want to look at it that way. It's the best event that I've ever been a part of that Kick's Eyes put on.
The other thing I like the most, you're not having to sit up for 6 hours just waiting for the chance of hitting 1 or 2.
Yes.
I was about to say the same.
Bingos.
Yeah.
It's just that's the bit that I'm liking the best. It's just like, I was done on day 1 in the evening, sort of chilled out. Then after that, and then I did a little bit this morning, and I was like, "Oh, that's that done." I actually went and did my FM this morning, that sort of stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, that's good." Right, I'll go and sit, and I'll go and prep some for some people now as well. And I did that, so I went and did a little prepping. So,
Well, another thing that they've
There's a
done is
button.
the offers are kind of nice.
yeah, so there are some good offers out there at the moment. But we'll talk about we'll come to those in a second. So, yes, Jeff, what were you going to say, mate? Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, there was some of the lower guys must hit these NPC bases, and one of them's gonna have enough to get the onslaught.
Wow.
Yeah, so off of that, on an individual level, one of the best things they did is they took a very large sample of bases. So even if you don't have the exact fleet that can auto the prescribed 1 or 2 bases that Kixeye used to post out, you can probably find a base tailored to your fleet's ability or your player ability or both, and you can hit it and still succeed. It just takes a bit of looking. But you don't need a specific top-end fleet to do well against NPC, an actual player targets in this case.
Yeah,
That's
I've
great.
seen people posting like hitting with Punishers, and people hitting with Furies, and people kindly enough to post, oh, here's a 56, and here's a 63, and people just generally helping each other out. It's been quite decent.
Yep. It brings back the whole community feel that we used to have within Sector and within alliances to help out each other and stuff. It's turned out really, really well. I'm actually kind of impressed. I did hear one Brood brought up a really good point too that I hope they look into, where she said if someone's like low level, rather than sitting there and getting farmed after you try and get to your checkpoint, she said something like have half the amounts for people under a certain level, so that way they don't have to struggle as hard and get farmed as bad. And that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, it would have the total amounts that they could have too, so that way they couldn't game the system to get themselves up near the top to get the top prizes easily. But it also would give them a little bit of breathing room too. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, I watched a level 50 something who had like 1,400 bounty, was out there trying to hit these low level 50s and 60s so she could bank, and then got hit by an onslaught fleet.
Oh, well.
And boom.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, that's discouraging when you're, because you didn't even have to drive that fleet. That was
Yeah. She had mentioned that idea the other night, and I've really, really, really liked it. Like, I hope they look into that, because that's actually a good way to protect people. And I don't know if you want to bring it all the way up to 80. Like a lot of people were the other night were discussing, around 80, but I just hit an 82 that killed my onslaughts. I mean, it had the missiles in it. It had 2 hopes. It was one of the better low level 80 bases that I've seen in a while.
That's a fair point. Now, I'm surprised actually there's some quite good level 80s and 90 bases. I'm like, flipping heck, some of these are quite decent. Yeah, like you say, executions in there. They've got web traps in there to stop, gluts.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My fleet got one-shotted in like a 80 or something like that, 76 or something like that.
Yeah, but I found what this has shown me with the NPC bases is that there are some really, really good lower level bases, like high 70s, low 80s, and there's some really, really bad level 100+ bases.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people in the hundreds have sort of like given up and gone, well, I just don't do that anymore. So
yeah, they don't care about that base.
But I'm peeking everything. I don't care what level it is. I peaked a lot, so it doesn't really bother me because there's obviously no indication of what ID they are. So
right, and the other thing too is I've been finding, especially as bounty is going on, it looks like the bases are dynamically copied, so they're copying them as the game is going on. And I'm finding some that I think I hit a level 101 the other day that was just about dead.
Yeah, I hit a couple today, and the OP was dead, and half the turrets were dead, and I was like, well, clearly this person was halfway through fixing it.
Well, I've hit a couple with those that deal they were giving out too with the 5 banks. So, yes. I mean, that deal wasn't prior to, and that started right about when Bounty did, right?
Yep. Yeah, that started after Bounty.
Yeah, so I mean, if they've already got 5 of those, and they had throwers on too, so
Yep.
I think it was the same exact deal.
Yeah, that deal has that build has surprised many people. It amused the hell out of me.
With the Vank slow field, if you put some new armor on it, it could help a guard, especially if you're like level 70, 80 going up. It's got a lot more worth than I thought it had when they first offered it.
It's it's a half decent build, isn't it? For the hull. In fact, for the hull that it is, it's a fine build. Nothing wrong with it at all.
Well, Vank's got 500k armor too, so if you slap some of the new armor in, he's going to live a while.
It's the bypass, isn't it? I mean, you see how low it is. I mean, it's nice that the figures are actually out now for the hulls. I like it.
But once you put that armor on, it's up to 360 though.
Yeah, but it's starting low, which is nice, isn't it? So,
but it's got 500k armor on it, and when people are trying to kill this thing, and it's a pain in the butt. I mean, I found I had someone actually that grabbed it, and then I've been trying some of the NPC bases, and I'll drive my onslaught through the set of them. Like someone had them at the outside edge of their base, and I about lost my onslaught. Like I jumped out because I was already at almost half dead, and I hadn't passed through the entire field yet. I was like, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I must admit. So deals, come on. It seems we sort of like touched on it. How are we doing with deals at the moment? Who's got what? You've got something to click on to show people.
I've seen a bunch of them posted up. Like there was a Fury one with the Ferox Fury, although I didn't see the builds. Like I've seen a couple people post up some of the offers, but not what the builds are. And I've been having some issues getting the builds to show on mine.
I know they don't show if you click past them, they go back again. You don't see them. You have to exit and then go back into the corner.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is.
You only get one shot at looking at them.
You go through the screen again, then you can't. You've got to close it down, then go to the top left-hand corner again, and then click on it.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, you can't go past it and go back. But as soon as you get to it, then you can have a look.
Right.
Just obviously putting your cursor over one of the things.
So on my screen, currently,
I'll share your screen.
I've got the Spite deal.
Oh yeah.
730 for us, Mark. It's got some really good tech in it. If people don't have them, it's probably one of the better deals out there, especially with new missile hull coming out. So if you don't have some of them specials, like grab that deal. It's very, very good.
I see a limited special on there too, the Agility 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish you could bank all those if you wanted to. So it's another method, isn't it?
There's scatter gluttonies.
Scatter gluttonies, is it?
Yeah, they're a little.
I hadn't seen that one yet.
They're a little bit expensive. I wouldn't be inclined to get them myself, but if you're looking for gluttonies, there's a few of them.
Yeah. See, I think that's the catch, is that so many people like that Vanquisher one because it's actually the value is there for what you're paying. Like
sorry, the scatter gluttonies, was it the battery 4 on there? Sorry, mate, you have to go out of that one. You have a look now, wouldn't you? So, yeah, you won't be able, oh, you can look.
It doesn't have any battery on it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Interesting. The sloths are garbage.
That's the old build, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's not the old one.
That's not what I have built on them anyway. The Inquisitors aren't bad.
Well, the price was a little high on them. It's only 2.
The price is a bit high, but
for their sins, I mean, so.
Yeah, it's a Sin Inquisitor, and Inquisitors are still relevant for some things, so too bad. These are overpriced by quite a bit for 2 anti.
They're crazy, aren't they?
But in saying that, they've got the Autoloader 4 and the Agility 4 on them as well.
Yeah, you can rip them off, I suppose. Yeah, once you've got it, you've got it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
they had Siege Battery 4 too.
And that TFC hasn't been out recently, has it? So
yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad to see that they're putting some of this tech out there in the offers, because I mean I think that's one of the things why that Vanquisher one is such a good value, is there's a ton of stuff on that thing.
That's in use with lots of holes at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have the Furies. I know one person who's got them because the price is just unbelievably low.
I think it's a great price for what they are, I have to say, considering the tech that's on them.
For people starting out, you can do Drac bases with these, you can do Uranium bases with them, and some of the starting campaigns. So if you do get this and you're low level, it's extremely helpful. Extremely helpful.
Yeah, and they're only $4.99 US.
Yeah.
With the ferrics in there, it's not bad.
Yep, and they're fully ranked, I think.
That was another question. I didn't know if they were coming fully ranked or not. That actually is not bad. $4.99.
I don't know about the rest of the ships. I know the Vanquishers are ranked and these are ranked, and I think the Spites are ranked as well. There's just a couple of tokens, but yeah, there's. If I was going for anything, it would be the Fury, Spites, and the Vanquishers.
Yeah.
Just for purely for the tech that's on them.
Do you not have the Vanquisher offer?
No, I didn't see it.
So there's still, because I just checked and I don't have the Gluttony one. That's weird.
Yeah, obviously everyone gets different offers. You know.
Yeah, I wish they would.
Some are generic, but not everyone gets everything.
Yeah, I wish they would actually put them in.
I got the Vanquisher, so I can't.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't show the value for them, but I can show the build for them. That's the build there.
That's the reddest dock ever. Look at it. Oh, and it comes with some good armor on it as well. Look.
Yeah, it comes to the two new armors. It comes with autoload of 4.
Well, that's good if you haven't got that before.
And it has the countermeasure 4 on it. I mean, it comes with some pretty.
There's some good specials on there.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one. If you're low level, it's fantastic for you to get. Especially with them armors, if you can't even get to tier 4 in FM, you've got the armor there sitting.
Yeah, I think
obviously once you buy the deal, you've got the armor blueprint. So.
Yeah, and the ones on the ones below too. There's two fairly newer. I mean, we haven't done Tech Up in a while, right? So both of those from Tech Up, the autoload of 4 and the countermeasure 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
So both of those are from Tech Up, so they can get a bounce on that. That's not bad at all.
There's lockdowns in them as well.
Yeah, there's lockdowns. You got lockdown rocket. Look, so.
Yep.
If you didn't pick that up the other day.
There's the offer. I don't know if you can see it or not, but.
Yep.
Have you shared there it is. $19.99. Yeah.
If I may ask, is the Furies any good for the FM?
For the FM, no.
No.
No. So, I like the Vanquisher one for a couple of reasons. I mean, the rumor is that was designed by a player and sent up to Kixeye, and the fact that it has that much tech in it for players to. One, I mean, if you're like a mid-level player who's struggling and you don't have anything for your base, they're actually surprisingly robust, you know. And two, you get all access to all that tech, so you kind of catching up on a little bit on the FM when the Tech Up comes out again. You'll be you'll have some of those done. It's not bad. I'm kind of surprised that that is a good value. The Furies. With the stuff on them, that's a good. I want to see more value stuff like this come out of Kixeye. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's all wrapped up to be a very good week for Kixeye.
I've got a few extra offers here. So I've got some Hope tokens as well, because people obviously still like playing those things, and they were available just the other day, weren't they? So 5 days worth for £10 English, which is okay. Then there's some more bit of VXP on them. The Omni Beam off is. Same sort of thing for 5 tokens as well, with some VXP. So Spikes in the UK, yeah, £7.30, which is that builder we talked about.
Oh yeah, what was the Omni one?
The Omni was so they got VXP, 10 times.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad for that deal.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And then there's some build tokens, like 13 of them there for $20 English, if you really want them.
I mean, I'm glad they're giving people options. I like this. I like some good value added things. The Omni one, let me see. See, my Omni's $30 for 13 days.
All right, okay.
So,
They're different offers, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad they're giving, you know, and it's all PvP based stuff too. So if you're starting to do this and you're liking Bounty the way that they're having it presented now, you know, good way to get into it.
Yeah, it is. I've got a stack of structure build tokens. I'm not sure why I've got them, but I've got them. 6-day there, there's a 13-day there, and a 30-day one as well.
Nice, probably for the what do you call it? The other shipyard, the Huggy shipyard.
Probably is, yeah. I mean, that'll get you a lot done. That'll get you a couple of turrets as well, because you don't need 30 days worth.
I just bought the Fury one just now, just to play with it because it was $5.
It was crazy money, isn't it? It's crazy money just to mess about with it.
You guys talked me into it. I mean, it could use a little upgrade, but it's got pretty good specials on it. I just, on a whim, it's $5. I can get around and hit level 50 bases with it, maybe, or something, just for fun.
Watch it overload and go crazy.
Yeah, it'll be. I've wanted one of those Feroxes since it came out, and I just never had time in the shipyard to build it.
Well, it's a long ass build, that's why, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Money is not one of your problems.
I noticed I've got a Conqueror class build tokens for 5 as well. 1 day's worth for 5, and 1 day's worth for 13. It's not bad, because this hole's obviously just about to come out and be one in the bounty as well. So, in fact, I've got two 13-day ones. And then another onslaught stuff. Oh, there's that offer. There's the one. Vanquisher.
I didn't get that
61. Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to watch things like subs and that sort of stuff, because they can sneak up on these things if you aren't careful. But
they have thermal, right?
Yeah, they put them next to a web. They're fine if you put them next to webs and that sort of stuff. You know, you put them in the right places. Even if the web's dead, it doesn't matter if you've got the right if you've got the right faction gang, it will make a difference at all. So anyway, yeah, good. So we quite like that. So we're going to say it looks like in general most people are sort of like pretty thumbs up for this one. It's taken 7 runs, but I think this one's done it, hasn't it? To be honest,
yeah.
No more Bobs,
like those. We thought they were rubbish, so don't bring them back.
I can't wait for Sunday, because everyone's all got theirs secured, and they'll have theirs secured, and they'll go out hitting, and then, like, people will lose a ton of bounty on Sunday because they have a lot of unsecured and they get hit, but they'll probably have enough secured banked by that point to get the new ship anyway.
I think all hell's going to break loose on Sunday, actually.
Yeah, it will.
Yep. But the thing is, honestly, I mean, it is a PvP event. Yeah, it's a PvP event. That's kind of what they were trying to do the last 6 times. They might have actually gotten it this time.
Yeah, I ran the numbers. I don't know if I got it wrong, but to get the weapon, the ship, and the special, you would only end up with 3,000 unsecured.
Well, that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, if you wanted more, you're gonna do more unsecured. But
yeah, but at that point, I mean, if you're at that point and it's Sunday, it's it's going to be a free for all anyway, just for fun. I mean, I'm enjoying the hell out of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of seat time if you want to just take your time, but to be honest, so what? Isn't everything in this game seat time? So it's
this is fun seat time. It's not the boring kind of seat time.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is too is like once I bank the 18 for the day, I go out and start hitting bases because I'm like, okay, I've seen this, and this, in the ones that I'm hitting here and there. I'm gonna try a harder base and see what happens out, because that way I can see how do the executions have to be set up to take out this ship or this ship.
Yeah.
And I'm slowly picking up on things that I haven't had a chance to really mess with before, because PvP is it's expensive during the regular time. So
I've only hit 3 real bases since this thing started, and I've only been peaked once. Yeah, I've just been.
Wow.
Why give somebody my cords? I'm just gonna farm these things. I've hit 3 bases because they were worth more than any of the targets were worth. But I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna lay low and collect my bounty.
Similar, but not the same. So I've got my amounts docked away, and because you can fix obviously 2 fleets at the same time, I'm just going in prepping one and then hitting with another sort of stuff. So I'm hitting a few bases because it's fun to do, isn't it? And it's
And that's the thing is once I'm
fix two at a time. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So you get the chance to try and mess around. I mean, I've hit more, in the past bounties I've hit bases, but not the really difficult ones. Like I'll pop in and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lose my fleet there, right? Now I'm already, when I get to the point where I'm already banked, I can, like you said, I can fix 2 fleets at the same time. I'm going in and trying bases that I know I'm going to die in. I don't care. I don't give a crap about the medals. So I'm like, I get to try something and find out how this works, how this interacts. And it's really cool. I like it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, but the other thing is as well is I'm going, I don't care if my fleet dies, so I'm not waiting for bingos.
Yep,
you don't exactly. Because if you're waiting for bingos, you're like, oh, I'm going to need them really, really quick. And I want to get as many done as I can. So I want to get at least, I used to have subs sitting at like 5 or 6 different, every 10.
Is that how you were getting them all, you little bastard?
I was holding them up. I was putting out 5 or 6 sub, just the flagships, and like 5 or 6 different sectors all over in my world. And then I would just go and hold them. And then just go and then mop them up afterwards or stuff, because otherwise you're just like, right, I've waited the whole day for this and I'm getting nothing. It just seems like ridiculous. So
yeah, and I mean the other good thing is that we have a lot of players that haven't been doing PvP before or not for a long time, and they're starting to get back into it. Like I think Andy is doing it this time, right?
Yeah, he is as well. And I've got 3 people in my alliance who have never played bounty, have done the bounty before, and they're loving it. They're having a great time.
See, that's awesome. That's really cool.
They absolutely refuse because they just don't have the PvP fleets, the latest stuff, and they knew they were going to get farmed to death and that stuff. And even a couple of them being hit, they're like, "Oh, I don't matter. I've got 4 hours now to go and get myself locked to the next level," so they're not bothered.
Yep.
So it's a win for everybody, isn't it? Really.
Yep.
Yeah, same here in my alliance.
I wonder what the participation increase is from because I know for sure there's more participation this time than last time.
The numbers have surely got to be up. I mean,
they've got to be.
We have a quick look at the world. I mean, the global leaderboard. I'm at 50k, and I'm the 1000th on the global board.
Wow.
And that's considerably lower than it was before, sort of stuff. And even in my sector, I'm in not even the top 10. And we still got a day and a half.
Even Nick is playing.
Even Nick's playing. Yeah, even nasty Nick is taking
In fact, he came and hit me the other day and stole $3,000 off of me.
Oh,
to give you an idea of how packed it is, I've got 71,000 and I'm 104. So between your 50 and my 71, there's 900 spots.
That's good. So there's 20k then. So that's worth winning. That's good.
I imagine Kix is seeing an uptick in gold purchase too. When people are happy and enjoying themselves, they're going to pay for entertainment. They're more willing to pay for entertainment when they're having a good time.
And you know what? I hope they learn from this. I hope they learn that when people have fun, they don't mind giving a little bit more.
Trickle feed is always the way ahead. The problem is, I mean, we know the genre of this game. It originated like 10 years ago, and it was all about everyone can play, but only a few can win. This is like the first event where everyone can play.
And everyone can win.
Yeah, everyone can get something. There's absolutely nothing. I'd find it. If you're really, really clever, if you didn't even log on, right, like 1 minute before the 800 switchovers and that sort of stuff, and then 1 minute after, and then someone bingos your base twice, you've got $2,000 locked away. The lowest price is 1,700, so you've got it. Job done. You do that 3 days in a row.
Yep.
You can't not get something. It's impossible.
This is working out to what they had described when Bounty first started. So everyone could participate, everyone could grab something, and everyone's having fun. I mean, that's the biggest part is everyone's having fun. Like Kixeye keeps on saying they want players to have fun. They've done it. This is fun. Kixeye, if you're listening, you have found the fun button. Yeah. Don't mess it up because this is fun.
Be nice.
I wish they could do the raids like this somehow. Have some way.
Yeah.
Dynamic stuff in the raids.
But the other aspect that not a lot of people have seen, go out and watch some of the higher end bases. You have people throwing on guards. You have multiple fleets out there involved in conflict. Not only just base hitting, but you've got it all the way across the board.
Yeah, there's a little bit of FVF going on right now. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there has been with us as well. Actually, I have to say,
Yeah.
I might have done it myself. In fact, I did happen to sink a few people this today.
Yeah.
We were out. We were out hitting a base in I forget what sector it was in, but there were probably 5, which would be 10 fleets, 5 FVF battles plus the tag for the base. So yeah,
it's definitely been fun.
Yeah. Had some mega fun too. I was hoping Rena would be on tonight so I could call her a bully. We managed to hold a gold nexus for about a day and a half, and then PNLS just swooped down on us like a well-oiled machine. Oh yeah, it was like we only have like a dozen decent megas in our alliance anyway, so we actually found a gold nexus, had them on all day, overnight, into the next day, and then they came down like with a dozen megas, a dozen support ships, and they must have been on TeamSpeak or some kind of voice too, because it was well too organized for typing in chat, man.
You've got to be on TeamSpeak for that sort of stuff.
It's all good. It's all fun, but we had a good time. So
yeah, some of the bigger alliances do that. We'll get onto something to chat. And the mega battles last bounty were really fun. I mean, they were really fun. This time it's turned more towards, at least I found with us, it's turned more towards bases and fleets. Yep. The megas haven't really been, and I don't know if it's because people are just used to seeing us at the things. They might just be like, yeah, forget that. We've learned, but
but it's early.
Base hits. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You know what happens on Sunday?
The last day, Sunday goes crazy. Yeah, Sunday's gonna be very fun.
Sunday be funny because it'll be Smash the Nexus time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and Smash the base hit is going to be great. I can't wait.
There's gonna be base hitting fleet versus fleet. There's gonna be mega hull battles. There's gonna be also. This is exactly the type of thing that the players have been looking for, I think, in terms of fun and engagement.
Well, I'm gonna smash some bases on Sunday. I know that.
You know? What? Mark's already planning.
I am. Yeah, I've already got a few targets lined up.
Well, this is madness.
Why not? What the hell? Nothing to lose, is there?
Well, heck, the fact that you can get enough bounty now to secure for a day brings the chests into play where they haven't been before. You're actually getting good tokens. I've got 5 or 6 structure tokens, not structure, 5 or 6 conqueror tokens. I've got a couple of structure tokens. I mean, it's good all the way around.
Yeah, I got 6 chests myself. I only got uranium once. The rest of them were all tokens. So that was pretty good.
There's some good stuff out there, isn't there? So hey, let's because that's like half an hour on that one thing, but it is a positive thing, so we don't mind talking about things that are good. So let's talk about other things that have happened this week. So we found out that obviously our community manager decided to do his first standalone stream this week. What did you think, guys?
I didn't like his joke.
You don't like what?
I didn't like his whiteboard joke. I think it just brought back bad blood that we had from the original whiteboard joke. If you remember back to that stream.
I certainly do remember that stream. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he had. I don't know if you noticed on the whiteboard this time, but it was almost like
I read it.
To it.
I read
something whiteboard pun or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it, but I let it go, to be honest. I was more interested to see what he was supposed to say, because then as a employee, a proper employee, okay, none of us are. So as a proper employee of a Kickstarter, he's in a position, and he's supposed to be the intermediate between us and obviously the design team and the engineers and that sort of stuff. And he did let a couple. I mean, very short stream, and I'm sure that's probably how he's going to run it, just by yourself. Otherwise, you end up just talking to yourself, as I do on my stream sometimes. Yeah, we found a couple of things out. What do we find out? We know there's a new TLC coming out for the mega hulls. So we're getting a new bridge. Is that right? Drone bridge. And a new drone.
Yep. I think it might be a rocket drone, if I remember right.
I think it was a rocket. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what he said. Rockets.
There's a drone bridge and a new drone as well, isn't it? So that'll
charged armor TLC next week too.
Yes, yeah, a new charged. That's right. Yeah, but a slightly different one. He said so.
I believe it was easier charged armor TLC, kind of more like the ones that we just had for the Chameleon and the Buccaneer last month. More like that.
I think the Buccaneer one set the tone of how TLC should be run in the future.
Yep.
I really do. And I mean, Chameleon as well. I've just been across and helped a couple of people on the Chameleon ones because they didn't have subs still. So I did level 2 for them, and other people doing the bits for them. So I really am enjoying this new format for the TLCs, letting people catch up. I don't think they'll stay for long. I don't know what you think, but I think it's a knock-on effect of obviously the last 6 months of having to have 2 different types of fleets. I think that's the probable reason for it. I might be wrong.
It also helps get lower levels caught up in the game, or people who have been away for a while. You can help get them caught up real quick.
Very much so, yeah. It is good, and anybody in your sector that's like, I've seen a plethora of people this week again with the Chameleon one. Can anybody do level 2 for us? And they just tuck a sub in the corner or a gunboat, and hopefully don't get sniped. But yeah, it's going down quite well, to be honest. So what else is it? Obviously, he confirmed the raid as well, wasn't it? Raid 15th. Do we get a name? Does anybody remember what the name was? We're gonna have to have a look. I'm gonna have to have a look, aren't we? Do we remember what the name of the raid?
Something Bay, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it something Bay?
Hunters. No, it wasn't Hunters. I forget. Yeah.
Let me have a look. I'll just go onto their page. Hang on 2 seconds.
Bay what?
Coiners Bay.
Butcher's Bay. Butcher's Bay. Hey, do you know how you doing? Sorry.
Coiners Bay.
Coiners Bay.
That was funny.
Yeah. Butcher's Bay. Butcher's Bay, March 15th to March the 19th.
So that'd be Ginger's Bay then? I mean, Coiners Bay?
Yeah. I spend a little here and there.
Okay.
Not much.
I don't believe you.
I've only spent, I think, maybe $20 on this bounty.
And are you enjoying it?
I am. I really am. In fact, while the show was going on when it started, I had 1,000 unsecured, so I've been trying to hit on auto, and I just hit my secure point. So sorry, y'all.
Unlucky.
I am, but I'm really enjoying it, and our alliance has had a really good time. We tend to move people up is that they work on so that they'll have an opportunity for the mega bonuses. Yep. And people that really have struggled with the bounties, I see them out playing, and they've got really good points values, 40,000 points, and they're having a good time. They're playing more. I think people are really digging the offers. So I think it's a big success. I think this is what people in the game have been waiting for. Something, a reason to spend money, a reason to hang out, do an event, and enjoy themselves instead of just groaning and moaning and grinding and bitching and not having a good time with the game.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great thing. I really do.
I mean, some of the fun's been like, finding some of the bases that obviously are FU, Kixie, we quit, and all that sort of stuff. In the event that's funny, because the event's actually quite decent. So, I don't mind a few people putting them up for a little bit and that sort of stuff, But it has amused me, and it's reminded people that, what, we've had some bad times in 2017, as I've said many times, was a bad year for BP. It really didn't go the way it should have done, I think, in lots of avenues. But yeah, this one's this one's getting there. It's bringing community spirit back in. People are getting hit, and they're like that. Well, don't worry about it. I'll get a bubble for 4 hours, and I can carry on. They don't even mind losing a little bit of stuff to other players, So
I don't mind. I'm still waiting to be peaked and hit. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it will.
I think Sunday's going to change the gameplay completely. I can't wait.
Well, y'all come get some because it's going to be sitting here because I'm going to be in my yard. So have at it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It will.
What did they say was coming for the raid? Didn't they say there was a new tide coming? Wasn't it a new Tide Seeker or something? Or what was it?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. A proto Tide Seeker.
A proto Tide Seeker.
Yeah, that's what I read on the raid information. That little bit we had. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
something that's obviously going to be able to see Phantom subs on the map. I'm guessing.
I'm wondering that as well. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because all we have is the H Tide, and so people are keeping their Tide fleets around, even though they've been kind of surpassed as far as a skirmish fleet, because that's all you have to see subs. So
yeah, my Tide's starting the water now. Yeah, I keep mine out all the time.
Yeah. Can this one not cost 30 coin to repair?
That's what I'm hoping.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is a 30-minute, but it probably won't be. But I mean, apart from looking at subs on the water and maybe helping out, what's the point of it?
Yeah.
It would have to be a Conqueror, wouldn't it?
What, do you think it's going to be a Conqueror?
It would be nice if it was.
We had a Proto Nemesis.
A Conqueror that can see subs, that would be a good idea.
Oh, that'd be heaven, wouldn't it? So
that
mix that up with the fleet that we've got now that's coming out with this bounty, 3 of these new missile ships. That'd be amazing FVF, wouldn't it? Well, if you get sniped at least, you'd be going like, whatever. You wouldn't be bothered too much.
I would rather have that option as a CIC to put on one of the new boats instead of an actual boat.
Or any Conqueror, one that you could, have a 1,000 thermal.
Well, that would hurt Phantom subs, wouldn't it?
Well, it would make it more, not any Conqueror, but I'm talking about one with the CIC slot.
Right, going forward, right.
A thermal CIC slot.
Maybe like 95 or something. If the enemy's range is 100.
I'm not talking about just having thermal. I'm talking about being able to see them on the map like a H-Tide.
Yeah, that'd be
cavitator.
I thought of a CIC the other day that I'd like. I don't know how they'd be able to do it, but I like a CIC where you could like just push a button and it'll give you a speed boost for like 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Just literally like hit the turbo button, like hit the space bar or something, and then you can zoom forward like 30 seconds or just 10 seconds or something. So, or deep dive and then zoom forward or something. I don't know. I thought probably a bit too complex for this game, but it'd be quite good fun.
It actually is Tokyo Drift now. You combine that with the glitch where the ships are going backwards or whatever.
Oh right, yeah, that's true. That's a weird one, isn't it? When you come out your base and you move and you go back and your ship's reversing. That's an odd thing.
I'm thinking it might be the Proto Tideseeker might be a capital ship, like Katie's.
Oh no, don't do that.
Because Proto Nemesis, that's all I have to base it on.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's just like
don't say that.
A better Harlock's Tide. Like it can get buffs to tides all the heck it wants. Just repair for less and also probably be less to build. Please.
Less to build is good. Yeah. We're liking the shorter builds at the moment. I mean, they're not massively shorter, but they're a little bit shorter. Apart from the FM fleet, obviously the new one. Which is timely, should we talk about that? How are people getting on with these Infernos? Is anybody getting a full fleet yet?
The best I've seen for 4 with the Savage Kodiak was 1 hour 30 minutes, I think.
Okay, and you saw the hint that then the flagship's not going to come out for some months. It said.
That's disappointing.
Really?
Was the word? Well, at least that means they're not going to do obviously escalation very soon. It's not coming out for months. I mean, some months is obviously, I'm supposed to get an upgrade every 3 months, so maybe they're going to hold off and it's going to come out in the next quarter.
So then, what happens when?
I don't know.
Okay, so if we have the Infernos now, then I think what might happen is the next time it changes 4 months from whenever. And we get the next FM fleet.
February, shouldn't it? Sorry, May, isn't it? May for June.
Something like that, yeah. So we have the harder FM the next time, and that fleet will do well. But then we get the Inferno flag, and the Infernos with the flag then become mostly viable again.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good way to do it.
Either way, we're going to need more dock space. I know guys in chat are talking about that. We got to have some more dock space, man.
Well, I've just recycled 15 ships today.
What did you get rid of?
Spikes. What else did I get rid of? Anything that was lower tiers, to be honest. I was like, yeah, see you later. Time to go. You know me, though.
It's bad if I'm already having to scrap ships.
What?
Yeah.
You mean you just got back?
I know. I'm already having to scrap stuff, though.
Here's that coiner.
Oh, come on now.
What?
I'm not that bad.
She's hooked again. She's hooked. Back into it.
I'm a surprisingly light coiner, to be very honest.
Mark, are you
truly.
It's safe to get rid of rages?
Define light.
I haven't got rid of the rages yet, I must admit, because I wasn't very impressed with the pass-through figures because, just because they were my only this purchase, last summer sort of stuff. But so they've got a little bit of sentimental value.
I wouldn't get rid of Rages.
Rages still have been fun doing. They're not so good anymore, obviously, but they were quite good fun doing FVF in it's PvP, isn't it? But obviously the mega ships, but they're not so good anymore.
They're still fun in the megas though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something you can toss in there. Yeah,
but it's
it's just something to toss in there. Something you're not going to miss while you're doing other things, and it can slow repair.
And it is a slow repair. Yeah,
it is.
They're not the cheapest, are they?
No, they're not. I think they're still. Well, they're still better than the Tides, though. The Tides are like a floating money pit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with those in the repair time needs to be like publicly flogged outside of Kixeye headquarters. That's horrible. It was supposed to be a good alternative and something to kill subs, but the repair isn't any better.
Yeah. I mean, there are some other holes that take just as long, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
honestly, the onslaughts are a very reasonable repair time.
I think it's a surprisingly flexible hull, the Onslaught.
It really is. And maybe that's a sign of things to come. I don't mind spending 10 coins to repair a fleet that's useful that I can use 2 or 3 times. But whenever I look at a fleet and it's, 24-hour repair or 36-hour repair, it can sit in my dock and rot until I have nothing else to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some of those, some of those, supposedly really, really good ships that I decided to recycle that took 2.5 days to fix. So I won't say the ship that won't be named. How about that?
Well, before I quit, the last fleet that I had bought was Berserkers.
All right.
And they were great for a month until the Enforcers came out.
But I
had so much fun with those Berserkers, man. I would play with those, and I didn't even lose them. I never lost that fleet until the Enforcers came out. And the first time they died, and it was a 36-hour repair, they sat in my dock for 4 days. I was so mad over that repair cost. It was just unbelievable to me. And that's why I haven't bought a fleet again until the Onslaughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Rages. I mean, I bought the Rages and that sort of stuff, and I was like, right, great, yeah, and everyone was raging, and then literally within a month, I was raging. So
even a month, was it? I mean, Axioms came out and killed those Rages pretty quick, like 2 weeks after.
Yeah, you had to pick some bases. I mean, to start with, you were like king of the game sort of stuff. Like I said, I was third global in the medals Cape table and that sort of stuff, for a period of time, and then literally I was like, yep, doing it. Smashing it, that sort of stuff. This proves that it's a coiner's game, and then all of a sudden, like that one turret came out, and I was like, "Yeah, that's it. It's over." I was like, "That spend versus return. Let me just work this one out a minute." I don't know who puts what value on these things. Problem is, it all comes from San Francisco, and wages over there are ridiculously high, aren't they? So when they put a value on it, they obviously put their value in, not necessarily a global value. Which doesn't help on exchange rates for UK, because obviously with that dreaded word Brexit, our pound has gone down, so we don't get as many coins as we were getting, before we decided to take the death leap and leave the EU. But that's politics.
So when they were campaigning for Brexit, they didn't tell everybody the impact it would have on battle pirates.
On BP, yeah, I know the
yes.
Yeah. It's horrendous. It's about 20% more expensive these days to do any coining. So inconsiderate devils. I'm just going to speak to the Prime Minister. Yeah. So right. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. So raids coming. Things are going to be good. People going to be ready, not ready. No, we'll see.
Depends how many tokens are on offer in that campaign, because I just finished my boon with all the new stuff. Like, I just started building it after the last raid, so it's not like I had to refit. And I just spent a week of FM tokens, and I finished it not too long ago. And I need to put on the last piece of chart and the new weapons on the other 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the 15 days that I have from the campaign and the raid aren't enough. So I got to see how many more I get, and then where those are going to go, and all that. And I don't even know if there's going to be an escalation weapon for the Hydras. I still haven't built my Blood Hydra because I'm too busy building these Inferno Dragons.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I sort of mentioned it last week. I've sort of advised my alliance that is not to go through because there are other ways of getting to the right level of points for bounty. I've sort of advised my guys to focus on FM and not worry about the escalation too much of the raid. And if you've got to grizz it out a little bit longer for a couple of extra hours, then so be it. I'm certainly not rebuilding my any of my fleets, and I'm not going to the next level of the weapon at all because I'm not sparing the dock time. I'm focusing on infernos and that sort of stuff personally.
Hey Brian, so how did you do in the last raid without the boon?
It's weird because I had it finished like midway through. It was the very first thing I bought, and I pumped in all the tokens into it. Before I did really well because like the first day I did well because I didn't turn the damage up, and then I turned damage up and I did poorly. And then I got the boon out and remembered how to use it properly. Thank you, Ren, who is not on. But then I did really well and ended up with like 240 million, something like that.
Oh, wow,
just doing
nice.
A's the whole time.
Well, then I'd let it sit too. I wouldn't prioritize that at all. If you can do the raid and do it effectively, I wouldn't change a thing right now.
I got 15 spare days. I can put a lot of stuff on for free.
Yeah. We've still got FMs coming too with tokens.
Those are for, I'll save those for Infernos.
Oh, yeah. I've got my Infernos going too. You know, something that I noticed, the only thing that I didn't like in this bounty is, what are they called? Hang on, I want to call them the right thing. Because I know y'all aren't going to be impressed with me saying thingy or whatever. Crap.
Why are you saying thing?
Okay. Your Google result return nothing. Try again.
Okay, so I don't see it anymore, but the little goals where you get the treasure chests, once you get to the 10,000 secure, the 3 treasure chests that are on that level, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, as you work your way up, you get chests along the way.
Right. In that last thing where you get up to 10,000 before you secure all you can for a day, those 3 treasure chests, the first group of treasure chests, I got some really good stuff. I got like 3 days of Conquer build tokens. I think I got some Conquer VXP, but I've had a couple of those treasure chests where it was like 25,000 uranium. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah.
Who in the game is going to be happy with that? I mean, really?
They're chuckaways, aren't they? Those ones.
Yeah, I've gotten, I think, 3 of them.
That's the lucky bastard version, isn't it?
It is. It just feels like a big fat ripoff because you're going ahead and you're getting so many that, you know, you're getting to the point where you're going to be completely unsecured, but you're really grinding and pushing, and then you get something like that. And I don't know. It's like getting a dictionary for Christmas. I mean, who thought that up? That's the only complaint that I have, really and truly, is those. They were a ginormous letdown for me.
I'll just find a glut in the space. There's a level 95 base here that's really quite decent, actually. I'm trying to kill it off with singluts because I'm just a cheapskate, but I've just found a big glut flagship in it as well, so I'm going to keep tacking
Oh,
this.
wow.
I could ignore it, but just on principle, I'm not. I'm just going to keep chipping away at it because you can keep exiting, and it's a classic example, like, you know. But this base is really quite decent for its level, and he's obviously
I've had some that I've had to really chip away at. I don't know what they had on their gluts, and a couple of the other ships that just flat out wouldn't die. You know, I'm sure it's the new armors, but wow. I think there was one, and I was so mad, and it was the red and white behemoth, the most recent behemoth.
Yep.
And I sent my onslaughts in twice,
and
I couldn't kill it.
The Omni doesn't die.
No, it didn't. I ended up going into that base 4 damn times to kill one ship. And the only reason was because it was a level 120 something. And I knew I was going to get good points off of it. I do like the points are kind of random. You know, sometimes you get 130 points or whatever for like a level 80 base. And then sometimes you go into one where you get like 280 or 250. They seem to be completely random. And I really like that.
Right, can everybody see this base? I love it. This is really good. I'm not gonna kill it because he's got exactly the same range on me as I've got on my singlets now. So, but he's got a really good little setup. He's got a boulder fist in here. He's got 2 hopes in here. Obviously, he's got the flagship for the glut as well, and he's got lots of obviously the full range of thermal on it. But look at all the twists and turns. It's a really nice little base. This.
Oh yeah.
Someone's got to run up to that. I don't know whose it is. Look at the antis. He spent some money. This guy. It's actually quite decent. Look, there's a boulder in there as well, and his glut flagship's just there. And I can't sneak up on it, which is really annoying me. I've already wasted 2. I could have gone 3 more targets by now, and it's killed a quarter of my fleet. Look, but that's actually quite a nice little base.
So speaking of base defense, wanted to get on to damage auras on turrets.
Yeah.
And Hefe, you'll help me out with this,
yes.
I'm sure. You might have mentioned it the other night, but I hadn't seen the show. Basically, the thing is, a lot of the defensive auras, splash damage reduction, etc., are multiplicative rather than additive. They don't add up 15, 30, 45. It's like 15, then whatever 15% of 85 is, etc. Like resistances. You all know that. But that applies for, it seems that applies for damage as well. And it just keeps going up and up and up. Like instead of plus 50% twice with 2 auras, instead of going 1 plus 50 plus 50, so that's 200%, it's 1 times 1.5 for the first one, 1 plus the 50%, and then times 1.5 again for 225% over 200. And while that doesn't sound like much, I did the quick math on epic Catmorts to that mystical 240% that people were claiming that they would start breaking the Ritz deflection on. And when you do it multiplicatively, it's 2.5 times more damage per projectile than just doing it additively. So that was making a huge difference. And if that's the case, one, I'm going to be swearing a lot because all the math for turrets that I've ever done is wrong. But also, it's very unclear in the game what's actually happening. And while it's still the same of stack the auras up to the cap, it's not really showing you how much damage you're dealing and what you can expect against enemy attackers. So it's a little, I don't know if it's intentional, but it's deceptive either way, and it's annoying for me because I like to know how my stuff works. I can actually do the math to figure out how the stuff works.
So you're saying multiplicative on some or multiplicative on all of them?
On all. Because otherwise there's no way 240% on an epic Catmort. There's no way that breaks a Ritz deflection. But if you do it multiplicatively and over double the damage, it just might. So that's something that we're thinking might be the case.
Yeah, but it's not really the number 240. Because that number 240 is the basis of multiple fire supports and fuel air emissions. So it's not, the 240 is no longer 240. So yeah, I think it would be
the old way that if you saw that, you might think, oh, it's 1 plus 240%. So you're dealing 340% of your normal damage, but not quite. It's 1 times 1.15 times 1.15.
No,
eight times 1.2 times 6 times.
But what I'm saying is it would display 240 or whatever, 200, because I was actually breaking through it a little like 205. But what is the actual number? I mean, I worked it out at some point, with like trying to remember how many fire support 2s and fuel air emissions I had. I forget what the actual number was, but yeah, it was, it was.
So I had done 12,000. So 12,000 is the base salvo. If you do it, if you assume it's additive normally, it's like just over 40,000. But if you assume that you have 8 fire support 2s, 6, 7, 8, and 6 fuel air munition 2s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 40,800 for additive and about 110,000 for multiplicative. And that's just from the auras. We're not talking transformers, We're not talking your faction or the specials that you put on, just the auras. And it made, a difference of 70,000 per projectile. Not even accounting crits, because that would double that again. So 140,000 more. Like, that's how you break a Ritz deflection with an epic cap more, is ridiculous things like that.
Yeah. It is a little, I'm not sure, because there's a lot of things that appear to be, there's a lot of things that have gone in the game where what's displayed in your shipyard or whatnot is not actually what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's intentional, like we're supposed to figure it out like it's a puzzle, or they keep on changing people and they don't know what they're actually talking about. I'm not sure which one it is, but yeah. I mean, it's sort of water under the bridge a little bit because they've limited the aura caps. And so it's not
and even
quite
then,
as...
Yeah, and even then it doesn't matter. It's not going to change the build that you should be using, which is to maximize your damage. It's just going to change, what you know about the damage that you're dealing, which I guess is nice if the opponent is saying you're a hacker because you beat them like you do. But it doesn't matter much unless you're like me or Hefe or Ren or the people that just do the math because we're masochists, let's say.
Let's say, hell, there is way too much math in the game. If you like that part of it, you are a masochist.
Well, there's too much busted math, because we don't have
That's
the actual. True. There's too much stuff that we don't actually have the proper numbers in order to figure things out, and so you have to be observe what actually goes on, and then try and figure out the new math, that whatever they're actually doing, as opposed to in some of these things what they're telling you. Because the big one that became really obvious was splash dispersion. And where you could get numbers, well over 100% splash damage reduction, and like, what does this mean? And then you started looking at, okay, it's not actually additive. It's not actually what's getting displayed on our turrets. It's a different thing. And so, yeah, that part of the game I find to be frustrating.
Wonder how much of it's coding errors, though. I mean, I thought that when they did the caps on the attack fields you're putting on your buildings, your warehouses and stuff, that they were just compensating for a coding error on how they stacked.
I'm not so sure. On how they stacked. Oh, I see your point. Yeah. Okay.
But they didn't mean them to stack like that. So in order to compensate, they were going in and putting this artificial cap in then. That's because they, when I mean an initial coding error that caused this to happen, then they didn't mean it to happen.
I think sort of like VX ranking, the reload bonus. Yeah, the ranking.
Yeah, I think it's players taking advantage of or understanding things sometimes and doing things and manipulating things in a way that they may not perceive we were ever going to.
That wasn't working as intended, you mean?
It works as intended. It's not working as they thought we would utilize it.
But the display had always, but the display was always the additive way. Like the fire support things, they didn't come in all that long ago in terms of the game's overall history. Like, it's been wrong the whole time. It just hasn't really been, I don't know, shown to be that it could be broken until they didn't have a cap, but it was always wrong. And
yeah, like at 25% reload rank, it was still wrong, but once it hit 75, everybody's like, oh, this is not.
Yeah, that's when it went a bit funny, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, then we can figure out it's not caught up in the noise. But as far as looking forward, have we talked at all about the new missile cruiser and what people are going to do in their base to at least slow them down?
Make it square.
There's been quite a few of those today.
I don't know what to do, man. Looking at the 1.6 mil plus pen deflection, that was so much for the Executioner 2s I just installed.
Make sure it's. I'm putting it in my beta fence. That's where I'm putting it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm putting it. Fight fire with fire. I've got onslaughts in my base, and I'm quite content with them.
I think to flag one of those comments there. I've seen it specifically in the forums and on the TFC page where people have said, well, so much for the new turret I've just installed. That was a big waste of time.
Why?
You have to remember your base is made up of jigsaw puzzle parts.
Right, it'll still
Things
kill
there
other
for-
ships. Yeah, I mean, it's not worthless, but it won't kill this, is all I meant.
I know what you meant, but there's been a lot of almost crying in a lot of the pages that their
But those
stuff's
days are
been
gone.
obsolete.
I've got
immediately.
turrets. I'm now god of the game, and you can't touch me. That's what we wanted to get rid of. You know, it's the multiples. It's the ship plus the turret plus the design plus the specials plus it's the commons. You know, it's the collective now. It's not the one thing makes this. We try to get rid of that. You know,
Right.
I mean,
it doesn't have much other deflections other than that big penetrative number.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can use other stuff to kill it. You just got to have other stuff to kill it.
Well, I think pretty much everything else that we own right now is going to be doing minimum damage to it. If you once you start adding on the D6U and the new compound plate, you're going to be doing minimum damage. So we should expect something coming out that's going to do more than minimum damage to this. I don't know what that is, but I would expect to see it during the raid. I'm just talking about in the meantime, between now and then. Like right now, I'm in a day I'm going to have my second elite countermeasure up. Because if properly equipped, the new ship will have 60% flak evade. I'm going to add the compound plate to my Omni because I'm going to add at least 2 of them. Because otherwise, the Omni against the Onslaught, like you could put the 2 of them in the room with knives and guns and whatnot, and after 5 minutes, they're both going to walk out basically with just a couple of scrapes and bruises on them.
Yes, yeah. The Omni's a brilliant ship, I have to say.
But against one salvo, I think from the new ship will take out the Omni without the compound plate. Because if you take a look at the deflection, the penetrated deflection on that one, and the fact that the new missile is single salvo, and it's doing just with the new special and the ship, the deflection damage is 54,000.
Is it single salvo or 2 salvo?
Single salvo, just one. And
single salvo.
So
wow.
Yeah. So it's not going to be great, I don't think, as base defense because it's not.
No, it's not.
It'll live, but it's not going to be great as far as inflicting damage. But and those are the 2 things that I'm doing. I'm just wondering if anybody else is. And it's faster. It's much faster than the
range, obviously.
Yeah, and it's much faster than the Onslaught. So if you're using different slowdowns, they're not going to be quite as effective if you're eking by. So yeah, it's a beast. I'm definitely planning to. I'll have enough. Already have enough points to get it. But it's a beast, and people should prepare for it. And those are just 2 ideas that I'm working with. As far as I'm not even bothering to put because I've saved some Omni tokens. And I'm not going to use them to put phalanxes on it because of the flak evasion. I'm going to use those. I'm going to use those to put the compound plate on it.
Yeah, I've not put any armor on mine yet, and it's doing fine. So yeah, I can slap a couple of compounds on. I'll be content then. Yeah,
because against the Onslaught, it's
doing fine.
Like I said, yeah, it's doing fine. But against this ship, it's not going to do fine unless you put the armor on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
go ahead, Brian.
I'm going to hope for a ballistic ship in the next raid with a bit longer range to kind of match that so that we can use chaos chain guns a bit more effectively because right now a Justice is outranged by the new ships.
Yeah. We every time a new base hitter comes out that's going to be bigger, badder than everything we see, our group is really good about telling everybody you're going to be a farm for a week. Do what you can, try different things. Let's see what works. It usually takes a week or 2 for people to figure out how to slow down new stuff. Sometimes it takes less time depending on what it is. But yeah, everybody needs to be trying different things. What's working, what isn't working. Don't get frustrated. Don't rage quit. We'll figure it out together. And that works really well, but people need to keep in mind you can't change your whole base to stop one ship. If you do that, then every other ship in the game is going to walk right through. And I think people, and I think people go overboard. And real quick, back to the Kixeye math thing. It's always been that way since the game started. The Kixeye math is like 5-year-olds that are learning math through Common Core. It's never made sense. And I was an accountant by trade. And I gave up a long time ago trying to exactly figure it out because it just doesn't work.
Well, it used to work a long time ago. The first time that I saw it get really broken was the VXP reload, because I have a 4-digit ID. I've been playing this for a long time, and that's when it started to become broken. And yeah, it hasn't gotten better in the last couple of years. It used to be because the game was simpler, and the people that developed it, and the people that developed the original parts of the game, kept on working for them. And so it's been handed off a couple of times, and that's why I'm glad that they're bringing back. They brought back GDR, who understands, has history with the game, and I think that's a really good move. That you have continuity as far as somebody trying to guide the game that understands the ins and outs of it.
And he's doing a great job. And I know we've talked about that in chat, but people really need to express that they like this, that they like the bounty, that they like where it's going, that he's doing a good job, that we want to see more of this, because it tends to be whenever people are pissed off, that's when you hear about it. This sucks and I hate this and screw you or whatever. But when there's something that they really like, they just kind of tell each other, oh yeah, that's awesome, and move on. So we need to help them gauge how we feel about what they're doing, not just the bad things, but the good things.
Well, I think that'll be reflected in the amount of coins they see, whether it's an increase or a decrease. That's not the only guideline, but that's the biggest motivating factor for Kixeye.
Well, that too.
Well, it is.
And they got to look at it over the long term, not over just one event and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. Well, but this one will be very easy to see. They've had 7 bounties. The first 6 were probably considerably failures. The 7th one should be a huge success. They should see a definite increase over what they've done previously.
I think if they reduce their drop rate of players leaving the game, I think that's the priority at the moment. And I think if they see, and this will definitely aid with that. We know there's been some huge. I mean, we've all seen the bases over the last 2 days. There have been a huge drop off in the last 6 months of players taking part, big level players as well. Just having enough. Now we're sort of getting in a position now where the game is. I'm not saying they're turning a corner, but they're definitely a tiller. So things are in a better place, I think, to guys at the moment. And long may it continue, because we are getting back to, I said the other day, I think the game all of a sudden jumped back 4 years, and this to me, it's jumped back into the almost to the pre-alliance days for this, because you're not actually, it doesn't matter what you hit on this, and in this bounty, you're hitting everything. Because they're just Mr. Nobodies. So this is great as far as I'm concerned. Whilst I like alliancing, and I think alliance's got a really good area in the game, and Jeannie's just mentioned it. Teams make up through trial and error, the edict process as we call it. That's the best way I always find in this game. And I'm not a huge maths person, but I do like to. I know how the game works. Like I said, I've got a reload ID as well, and I just know how things should work. And if they don't work, then I know it's goofed up, and I can generally work out how and why to get around it. But in general terms, it's only month 2. We've got a long way to go, but hell, it's certainly making a difference at the moment for my gameplay. I'm enjoying myself.
Yep.
Anyway, so on that happy note, should we call it a night? Get back to it. What do you reckon?
I think Laredo has something in chat that he wants somebody to see.
Okay, yeah. What is he talking about?
Oh,
replicate bases. Oh yeah, the replicate bases are GDR and GDS's implementation. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I did have a couple of chats before this bounty kicked off. I did actually PM and had a little quick chat with GDR. But yeah, thanks, Raider, for reminding us. Yeah, so it was again the same sort of team to consistency in the team. That is a must in this game.
Who's GDS?
It's another one of his engineers and designers sort of stuff. Well, he's a designer. It's not one that we know publicly. I do know him in the background, but it's not one that we have ever had on the shows and that sort of stuff. So some people do want to come on and be public, and some people don't want to be public.
Has Laredo ever been on here?
No. Not from my memory, anyway.
Let me tell you, and I know Laredo is a controversial kind of guy.
He amuses the hell out of me.
But I think he's fabulous. I really do. He is entertaining.
Don't make him blush.
No, he is, and he says what he thinks, and he's braver than most because he's involved in everything. You see him on pages, you see him in here. He's active. He pays attention. He listens. He's not just somebody that they decided was going to be a mod, and doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. I think he does a good job.
So we should blame him for more than, is what you're saying. We should blame him for more than we do into everything. Okay.
Well, he likes it, evidently. Bless his heart.
Like, in all honesty, it's very. You need a certain type of person that can be the punch bag.
Yeah, I do. Because
easy thing.
How many other mods do you see that are participating in this or on group pages and that are actually doing what other people in the game are doing?
And the players at the end of the day, I know the Raiders Alliance. I know a couple of people in it, and they've been in the game a long time themselves, so which is good,
Still waiting for the Raider to fight me though.
See, that's the ego bit in you coming at me. I don't give a stuff about things like that. That's why you're in one of them alliances that seems to care, and I just don't. But hey, we need all types. It's about it's a fighting game, so yeah, good. You keep fighting, you keep spending, you keep the time in life. I love it. Like people like you, you're good. I mean, even George is here. No, George is gone, isn't he? George is last. Yeah, George left. George was in the last raid, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we did this great battle at the end of on the megas and that sort of stuff." And he went, "Yeah, I looked at my coin balance, and it just went like in 20 minutes. It was all gone. Spent a month's worth in 20 minutes." Went, yeah.
Another thing, and I know I've said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it until eventually somebody discusses it or whatever. But when we have this bounty. And the megas are tied into the bounty, which I understand that they're going to have a different mega campaign coming out with new goodies and stuff, which is awesome because I think it's kind of gotten stagnant. But I wish that as long as the megas are involved, that we could have half-time repair on our megas, or at least instant repair on the engines to get them back to the hive. Even if they're damaged, something like that would be really good.
Yeah, the megas need a lot of loving, but don't forget who invented the mega ship. He's only just got back in the game. He's only been here 2 months, so he can't do everything.
Yeah,
GDR's in
it was GDR and Priest. They both were pushing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'd like to at least see halftime repair on the megas during the bounty.
No, it's not that. I want to see the new mega ship. By the end of the year, I want a new mega ship. I want to see as he promised. I want to see the one that's going to breathe fire, Reaver one that's going to chuck fire out at everybody and that sort of stuff. He did say he was going to have it, and then obviously he went off to do other things, but he's back, so I'm going to push him on that.
Definitely, because the megas are fun.
Yeah, especially on different times.
I want to see the Desplosion on the Reaver Mega Hull.
Yeah. And just watch this big fire bomb, just the whole seed like sets fire or something like that. I don't know. It'd be really good. Good fun.
Yep.
But yeah, hey, look, we've had some good wins. All right, we're already into March now. We've had 2 months just gone by, and since obviously the pre-Christmas show, what have we got? We've got rid of 2 fleets in the raiding and that sort of stuff, which is nice. We've got a bounty that's working again now. We've got an FM that's taken out of the raid system when it's doing its own thing. Okay, it's a little bit interesting at the moment, but people are managing, so that's something. And some extra ships are getting some love, and some of the deals are actually quite decent. So, hey, we can't have it all. Because otherwise they're going to be free and they'd be paying us instead. So, but in general terms, I think it's all right. Not everything's perfect, but yeah, I'm content at the moment. I'll keep going, keep plugging along. And yeah, go on.
I wanted to say one more thing. In this bounty event, I mean, there are a lot of people that really aren't spending a lot of money because they're not having to. I mean, you're able to get your points, and that's great. But if you're able to, put $5 on there, coin a dock repair, and add 5 cents, something, just so that they can see. I'm not saying spend your life savings or your rent or $100 or whatever, but put a couple bucks on there that you wouldn't usually put on there.
The reward that they'll see will help us in the long run.
Exactly. So that they can see one way or the other that this is a good event and we're enjoying it.
Yeah, like I said, there are two ways of measuring success, isn't there? One of them is fiscally, and the other one is obviously through participation. The participation has gone up massively. I'm hoping that also has effect on retention as well. Because that is a huge, important thing as far as I'm concerned as well. The bleed rate last year was crazy.
Snoopy says in chat that this is the first time he's bought coins in months.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's good, because he was absolutely one of those individuals that went, "That's it. I'm not going to spend any more. I'm done. I'll do a free game and that sort of stuff. And when I get too far behind, I'll be done." So, yeah,
he was one of the most anti-bounty people I've ever seen.
He's the most anti-everything person. What are you about?
That's another issue.
Yeah, that's a whole different situation.
Did George ever do the testing on the what was it, on the radon slingers?
In what respect?
Because they were supposed to have a some kind of a dampening effect, or
the weapon jam. The weapon jam was not. It's a misprint on the blueprint.
They're going to change it.
It's supposed to be the duration of effect. It's not. It's another blueprint issue, like me and Brian.
Wording issue there. But we brought it up and they addressed it literally. But what's nice, that was brought up, and literally on the same day they went, "Oh no, we made a mistake there. We've done that. We'll get that sorted for you." Literally it was acknowledged in the same week, where sometimes it used to take forever. So. We mentioned it on various of us have mentioned it, and they've gone, "Yeah, we'll get that squared away." So at least like I say, pass throughs on the blueprints now. There's certain things that start to make life a lot more easier for us, and there's not like pages and pages and pages, or columns and columns of statistics on flipping blueprints now, which is also making the game a lot better.
If they could give us a sheet of math that would help us understand how things work, it would be nice for at least the people that want to do the math.
They did.
Yeah,
I'm kind of working on it.
A consolidated database or wiki or something explaining some of the things that are going on in the game, because like we talked about, some of the things that are shown in the game are incorrect. And, it's tricky. It's tricky.
That's like part of the magic, though, isn't it? When you suss something out and nobody else has.
Oh my smug? God, it's a man!
Don't you feel it's smug all of a sudden? When you suss something out, you're like that, I've just worked this out. And then you think, I wonder if anyone else has worked this out. I used to love doing that. And you get that one-upmanship moment, or you get a build and all of a sudden you go, I don't know why it's working as well as it is, but by God, I'm not telling anybody for a while because this is awesome.
Can I still toot my horn about monoliths? Because I'm going to.
Go on.
Monoliths. No, I just wanted to toot my horn about that.
Right. Retrofits?
I mean, they're good. I just meant the original when I had that giant spreadsheet and they
yes.
it
Yes.
next week.
Yeah.
You made a spreadsheet?
A long time ago. A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
No, still this one. Not that exciting. It's
anyone
just a spreadsheet
that takes the time.
I mean, as an accountant by trade, you should be able to appreciate such things, which is nice.
I definitely do.
I mean, I'll see if I can find the old episode where that happened, but it was way long ago.
Do that. That's pretty cool.
I was going to say Brian's former life, but actually he hasn't grown out of this one yet. So
yeah, I'm still working on this one.
Sorry, mate. School's out there, mate, isn't it? So actually doing work now. We're seeing the development of Brian's life. It's quite funny.
It's quite boring.
You need to change that bedspread though. You've had it for 5 years. Come on.
Yeah.
Or you just bring it out for the shows? I'm not quite sure. Well, you got a cupboard full of them. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe they're all the same. I couldn't keep one that color that clean. Anyway, different issues. Right, moving on.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Hefe is biting back a joke. I know.
Gina's got a filthy mind because I wasn't on about anything like that. I've got dirty work clothes. So
all I know is I don't want to
He
ever have
puts the
enough
overflow
spare
from his
time.
closet in there.
There we go.
right into
That's
that.
a joke.
I don't want to ever have enough spare time to do a spreadsheet on the mono. That's all I know.
yeah, especially the one on the flagship, because it was just like what.
I appreciate it when you guys do that kind of stuff, but I don't want to have that kind of time.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why we do it, so you guys don't have to.
I did a spreadsheet once with mortars, and I got to the third mortar, went, nah, this is just too much. I'm not doing this. I'll go build it instead. If it's not right, I'll just coin it.
I started one on the King's Writ and gave up the will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hats off to you math geeks, because I just can't be doing it.
I've got to redo all mine now. If that whole PvP damage aura thing is correct, I got to redo this thing.
If I want any maths like that, I like Ren's sort of ones where he does a visual. You got a picture of a boat on one side, a picture of a boat on the other side. You got lots of barriers in the middle, and then you just got a number, and it's just deteriorating. But I like that. That's real simple, stupid. I'm up for that sort of stuff. But you, mate, when you sent me a spreadsheet the other day, Brian, and I was like that. What the hell were those numbers?
Yeah, that was the work in progress of the work in progress of the thing that I'm still working on, which is an attempt to get all of the BP math that's relevant that we can know as players out and available to players, and make it simple enough so that like all you have to do is put in the numbers in these little areas and everything else fills out for you like a good Excel sheet should. So you just have to put up a build and then put the numbers from the build in. It does everything for you. That's the hope. It's not going well.
Makes you appreciate all the work that Huggy's done, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Yes.
For a man that doesn't even play the game and hasn't done for a long time, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Yep.
He's good, and he's got the latest stuff up already. So it's I was messing around before. I just recycled some of my missile chuckers. I thought, well, I'll have a look at this new missile and see if I can stick it on the on some of the older Tier 5 ships. But then I looked at the numbers. It's not really worth it. So.
Hey, FYI, guys, if you sink that new $5 Fury fleet, like I just did, it's 9 hours and change to repair it.
Does that mean it's nearer to repair it is to buy it? Can you buy another one instead? Just chuck it away.
Yeah, I could really. No, I took it into like one of those level 70 opponent bases that happened to have an Omega GAT gun. It does not like the Omega GAT gun.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, that's 9 hours to repair. If you were interested in thinking of that purchase.
But if you spend even more to refit and swap out the armor, the repair becomes cheaper.
I'm already thinking of Speed System 6. They're really slow. But, yeah, I was looking at them already. How can I refit these? These might be okay in some small bases.
On Mondays where you can go and black people, yeah. I was going to retain some of mine and just go and hit some lower ones with some real low ships, but they still don't like it when they see your base. I don't know why, because your base number doesn't mean anything these days, but yeah. But I've decided against it because I've got enough space in my dock now, so I've got rid of everything.
Well, I noticed you haven't picked up a level yet. You're still 128. I'm getting closer to you.
I'm doing it all genuinely, I'm just. But the thing is, when you're maxed out on res, obviously you can't level up, can you? So I've been maxed out on res, so I'm not really building a great deal at the moment. So.
Well, good. Stay maxed out. Maybe somebody can catch you.
You can build new ships. Just coin a bunch of ships, Mark. That'll work.
Yeah, I could do so, but I keep recycling them, so I'm like, I don't know.
More dock space.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Back full circle.
It's nuts.
Yep.
Just when we were talking about the Omega Gatling gun, there was a lot of people who have been dying to that. The first one that came out.
Yes.
There was
the OP gun. Yeah.
There was an equation posted, which will take you about 10 seconds to plug things into it, that you should be able to figure out if your ship will survive the Omega Gatling gun or not, on the TFC page somewhere.
Yeah, there is one. Kicking ass. I read that as well.
But it would be quite helpful for quite a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that have seen this bounty and before the bounty dying to it.
But I have to say, most things to do with PvP, like ships, I've done some vanilla builds. I tend to leave that to the alliances. I don't put too much PvP stuff on there because whilst I really encourage and do all I can, and the team does as well, obviously, to get people through the chory bits of life, including FM. I really believe that to make alliances flower and flourish, sort of stuff, then the nuts and bolts of what's really good and what isn't really good, I think should stay within the alliances. That's my own feeling. All right, but and that's what we sort of try and promote on the page. We don't really take alliances down and take away their, and spread sort of. I mean, I find out things, from alliance players and that sort of stuff from other alliances, but I don't put it on the page and I don't make videos of it myself because I think it should stay there. That's my gut feeling. Otherwise, the point being an alliance if everybody knows everything. That's the whole part of it, isn't it? When you can have that workmanship and.
You're talking about specifically PvP stuff, right?
Yeah, specifically only PvP stuff. Yeah,
right.
If it's PvE and that sort of stuff, where it's a slight overlap to megas, because there's a really good mega page and people are sort of like generically telling people some interesting stuff, but not necessarily all the detail, But I'm not really a big fan of giving away everybody's trade secrets. So.
Well, it was more of a thing. A lot of the mid to high level players know fine that sort of what way.
If it's something that can generally help the community, mate, then that's fine. But if it's something that's going to take something away from an alliance over another alliance, then that's.
That was the point. It's not something that any alliances will be terribly concerned about.
Okay.
It's just for the players that have been struggling with that specific issue since they changed up the OP gun to not take turret damage reduction.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players were dying from that change, and they didn't quite understand what was causing it. But it's something that 90% of the alliances will already have figured that area out. If you get it.
Yep.
Don't have an issue with that then, mate. That's cool. I mean, I don't, unless I'm wrong, unless people think that we should put everything on the page and then try and discourage alliance.
No.
Their own alliance. I don't think so.
Yeah, because I mentioned this. Viper had put something on about doing a video to help out, and we had a little chat about it. And I always considered PvE to be like all of us versus Kixeye, and we should share everything. PvP is us versus us, and I'm not really interested in giving you information that would help you get into my base.
Quite agree. So, yeah, that sort of hits it on the sort of like the head. Yeah, exactly that sort of thing. Yeah, it's us the the targets that they've created, and they've said it many a times. If you can work out the puzzle, then tell people the puzzle, and then we'll start creating the next puzzle sort of stuff. Because that's what it is.
I think it depends on how generic what Venom puts together is. If you put something
generic
to understand,
I was just talking about the concept of sharing. I mean, the sharing of PvE versus sharing PvP. I mean, we should share all the PvE. Although, like Ren says, then Kixeye will see it and make it harder for us. But
anyway, mate.
He was joking.
I know he was. That's why I brought it up, because I commented on that thread. But PvP is supposed to be us for the competitive part of the game still. So I mean, I don't want sharing generic stuff, but when you're talking about builds and even base designs to a certain extent,
it's the thing I posted on the page there this week about making the vid with Ren about heading bases. It's generic things to look for. It's not this will get you into any base. It's no little trade secrets. It's a lot of the basics that a lot of players still haven't wrapped their heads around, and where you see a lot of the complaints coming in, sort of again, where they don't quite understand the simplistic parts of the game. That's where we want to kind of push forward.
Yeah,
because
and I saw a lot of
once you get the basics, everything sort of starts to come together a little bit better for you, and it keeps players in the game.
Yeah, I think so as well. Because I notice a lot of people hitting the replica bases. And I'm like, oh, that's not the way you're supposed to do it, at least as far as base design. I'm like, yeah, you're just leading all those ships so I can splash out all of this, and yeah, you're snipeable from here. All these issues that show up in these bases, and I think this is if you're going to put a video together, I think if you like hit a bunch of 70 replica bases, I think you could come up with a lot of good points that I think would be relevant to a lot of up and coming players. Probably not hitting the 100s, but hitting the 70s and the 80s, and like this is not helping you.
Yeah, it's conceptual. No, get it. Understood.
Yeah, I sort of felt bad when I was going through most of the sort of 70 to 90 bases, and quite a few 100s actually. When you were looking at the bases, there's a lot of basic things that were wrong with it, but nobody's really told them, well, if you change these little things up, you'll do a little bit better. These turrets shouldn't be there at all. Why have these been placed here? And spacing of things. So
yeah, and the penis design is not helpful.
Oh yeah.
Amusing, but not helpful.
Simple stuff though, like splash. Like the people not understanding how splash works, how it emanates out from the point of impact, and is going to, like, if you park a guard ship right behind a turret that's open in the back, the guy doesn't have to get in range of your guard ship. Something really simple that you should have learned at level 50.
Well, people have probably forgotten about retargeting as well from missile ships. So
right.
That's going to catch a few people out.
Well, there hasn't been a good con-call since, like maybe the Liberator that had, we had to worry about that. So maybe some have just gotten into above level 50 since the libs came out and aren't even thinking of that.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Well, they'll soon find out very quick. But but with the classics, remember the old days when retargeting first came out? They went, "Oh, look, how could he possibly? That was, he's hacking because his missiles just hit the middle of my OP and you're in line of sight, mate. That's
Kickside's getting a big stream of tickets, I think, on that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it depends on how it works. I do recall at points in time where you would aim at one thing and it would retarget like 500 units away. I mean, they fixed that, but yeah, there was at times I'd filed tickets as far as not base hits, but as far as the PvE encounter. Whereas like I hit something and then that missile takes a right, and then it goes pretty much all the way across the map.
Well, if it's a straight line, it should go till it hits the next target, right?
No. It used to do weird things, but they put some constraints on it at this point. No, it should not go that far.
At the start, you could hit one building at one side of the base, and it
would go over
all the other side.
Side of the base.
I remember that.
Quirky maths.
It's always great whenever somebody hits one side of your base and it goes to the other side. I'm sure they had so many tickets over that. I remember raging over that stuff.
Yeah, because it was impossible to predict. It wasn't like it wasn't consistent either. Like it was like just some weirdness, and all of a sudden, your OP's getting taken out by something that's it was crazy.
That's not in your base yet.
Yes,
but you soon learned to put something else in front of the OP. So that had a bit of gumption about it. It could take the hit. So
I mean, it basically works a little bit like Splash. I mean, it's basically the way to, that's the way I think about it. It's sort of like a Splash mechanism, but, sort of close to what's going on with the bus and whatnot. That you're getting these crazy splash things, and it's not that different in my mind, is it? To anybody else's mind, as far as some of the geometry associated with it. The geometry is different with retargeting, but
yeah, because it's linear, isn't it? Whereas Splash is linear, then
multi-directional,
and then it's omnidirectional. Yeah, omnidirectional after that, isn't it? So.
Whenever I started the game, Splash was explained to me as Splash is when you miss a target, you still hit it. So
it's ripples. It's ripples in a pond, right? Like you drop a pebble into a pond, the spot where the rock hits the water is going to be the heaviest part of impact, the most energy release, and then that energy is going to gradually disperse as those rings ripple out from the center of impact. I mean, that's how I tried to explain it to people.
Unless they do one of those goofy crews that makes the outside of the splash stronger than the inside of the splash.
Well, that shouldn't be. It should dissipate as it gets from point of impact.
Yeah. DOS crews reverse it. So
DOS crews completely goof it up. Like, please miss. I'm going to get more damage. Like ridiculous. DOS crew was the craziest thing ever, I think.
I'm going to put engine 3 on there, and everything to lower my accuracy number.
Yeah,
because a miss was now a critical as well. That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, which is when always good for things like rocket ships and that sort of stuff. They were always good for that. Right. Okay. Are we out of steam? Are we done? That's an hour and 40.
I mean, I can go on for hours. You know that.
So. Oh yeah, I know. But then you just go get a beer, and then you go on for 20 minutes.
I can start around
20 minutes. Well, 4 or 5.
Hefe, I'm really entertained by your whole laser kitty thing you've got going on every time it pops up. It's really awesome.
Well, thank you.
Right. Okay. We're going to call it there then. So, remember next Tuesday then, obviously, we'll get another FM, which is nice because obviously it's not till the 15th is when the raid kicks in. So, TLC coming out. I'm not sure when that's going to come out, whether that's next week. Otherwise, what else we're going to do? So there could be the one for the the mega hole. We'll see. If not, it'll be a bit quiet next weekend. So that can't happen. They don't let us have a weekend off ever, do they? So I'm sure something will kick up.
Well, it'll be a new TLC, like you said, right?
Yeah, I think it probably will be. So look forward to that. Anyway, we'll find out on the update next week. So tune in then. And between now and then, enjoy the rest of the bounty because I certainly am. And I think people in general are saying thumbs up, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
I think so. And one thing, I hope you don't mind me mentioning it. I'm hoping to have. I'm trying to recruit people. I want to have a wall building contest on Friday, and to figure out who can build the most walls from 0 to level 10 over the course of an hour.
I can build 0.
I don't know if anybody's got the stamina.
Why?
Oh, whatever. I mean, I'm not sure what the prizes are going to be.
Do you want
maybe Andrew
study on the risk strain as well.
Maybe Andrew could make like a video intro, or I don't know. I'm not sure what to do for the prizes, but I want to create a baseline. Like
a risk cup.
Send them a copy of Pink Floyd's The Wall.
No.
One of the
I'm trying to create a
psychiatrist.
Yeah, well, I was really hoping, Venom, that you would participate, since we know you're an expert wall builder, based on all your level 6 walls that you have, level 4 and 6 walls that you have in your base. So I was, I just want to create a baseline. I want people to be competitive about building walls and figure out what the possibilities are, because I really think they need to fix it.
Yes, Mark, end the show.
I'm sorry. I can't participate because I have all 600 level 10 walls. I'm sorry.
Well, I know people that do. Mr. Magic Mike over there, he does have all those, and he was the one that
is not permitted.
Yes.
Right.
No, for the other players, but but it would be just creating a baseline. That's all I'm trying to do.
We're done.
Yeah, this show went about 5 minutes longer than it should have.
Yeah, this is on. Hefe's into the mad moment. Okay, it's time to finish. Okay then. Right. Okay. Take care, all. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you've had an interesting hour and a half because the last 5 seconds were. Anyway,
Hefe's here. It's interesting.
Take care, and I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.